Hello. I just can't seem to actually schedule these so that people know that they're happening. But it is what it is. I'm out on the road. Scheduling's a little unpredictable. I did want to go live. I did promise I would once before I depart for China. I am planning on streaming from China. Hopefully, that's going to work. I've seen a lot of other people do it, so I don't see any reason that it wouldn't. Um, so thinking about the last 3 months is really just mind blowing. It's like uh, it seems like another lifetime when I got here. That first night in Thailand when I popped on with Kit and Keaton. Um, it's a lot to process. I think really the things that I'm thinking about and remembering now are the unplanned things. It's having the bus get stuck in traffic in Thailand and being told that I got to take a boat. What do you mean I got to take a boat? And yeah, man, there's just I found my way to a quay that would take you to. I was on the way to the Muay Thai stadium. It's just commuters, man. Commuters taking a boat stops like it's kind of like Venice in that way. Uh, but just not something you would expect, and that's a lot of the experience you're going to have when you come to a place that's this remote to you. Things I've gotten used to, things I've gotten accustomed to, that really were culture shock for me when I got here was definitely the driving and the scooters. Uh, I have literally, I have literally seen 9 and 10 year olds riding a scooter. I've seen whole families on one where the father's at the front, the mother's in the back, and literally three kids are in between, and they're just chilling and waving at you. Um, my first night in Luang Prabang, I thought I was going to get torn apart by a pack of wild dogs. So help me God. I'm liking for the way into town, and my map totally screwed me. And six stray dogs come tearing around the corner, charging straight at me, barking, and I'm thinking, this is how I'm going to die. This is how I'm going to die. This is going to be the story. And actually, it's going to completely undermine part of the purpose of this trip, which is to convince people it's not as dangerous to go and travel as they think it is. I'm going to get ripped apart by wild dogs in Laos. Nobody's ever going to leave America again who heard that story. As it turned out, if you've ever been to this part of the world, the stray dogs have their like little territorial beefs. That's what it was. Like they were charging at another group. As soon as they saw a human, they actually pulled up. But really, I thought I was dead. And even that night, because my map told me there was a bridge, there was no bridge. It was like a boat. There was like a ferryman. It was like the River Styx. It was like a kid who just took you across. It was like a 60-second thing, but there was no bridge there. That was the only way into town from there. Anyway, I found out later there was a bridge. Um, the beautiful, beautiful, kind people, that's without a doubt the thing that touched me the most. That's absolutely what I'm most sad to leave. Honestly, the people here could not be more awesome. Cambodia, where I am right now, it's just incredible if you know this relatively recent history, how much they've recovered psychologically and emotionally as a people, and how much they've preserved their culture. I just went tonight. I thought it was a fitting last thing. The hotel recommended to me a dinner place where they have Apsara dancing, which is the traditional Cambodian dancing. You go to Angkor Wat, you have carvings of Apsara dancing, you have collapsed training facilities for Apsara in one of the temples that's commonly visited. And it's very, very beautiful to watch. I don't get it. Cambodians, I really don't get. If you want to talk about like one of the great mysteries for me on this trip, I do not understand how the Cambodians are so untraumatized, at least apparently, at least to my eye. Like they seem pretty healthy, happy, gentle, shy, well adjusted, very kind, very retiring kind of people. And the fact that through all that, they preserved this cultural legacy with so many of their people wiped out in this genocide. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand how people that went through what they went through could be so lacking in evidence in the way that they carry themselves for their culture to not be distorted by that. And maybe it is in ways that I wouldn't know, but I'm just saying like obvious signs of trauma. Oh, and from talking to people, part of that is, I guess, that generation decided to shield the children from it by not teaching them about it so that it wouldn't be in their head, so that they wouldn't have to think about it. Now, to me, I would think you'd still pick that up in your parents' energy. Is that Buddhism? Is that because the culture is deeply Buddhist and they just kind of transcended it mentally? I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't even think that's possible, but all I can tell you is what I've witnessed. And you would never know that these people went through basically the takeover of their country by the freaking Manson family, and driven into the countryside and it's taken out of the cities for years, 3 million dead, like, and that's after the bombing that precipitated the Khmer Rouge's rise. I i don't understand it. It's an absolute mystery how well adjusted and happy these people apparently are, and how much of their culture they've preserved. um Vietnam, arriving in Hanoi, and finding it just absolutely a beautiful mystery. So such a romantic city in the true sense. Just winding alleys and just incredible street life everywhere that you look, and just chaos. And it was in Hanoi that it occurred to me that uh, Asians are the cool ones now. Now, you could say that was always propaganda, and sure, but it used to be people looked at America and they thought it was cool, right? They thought Elvis was cool. They thought Motown was cool. They thought we were cool. You go to Hanoi, man, Hanoi's cool. Hanoi's cool. What do we have now? Kid Rock, what? Nobody's looking at America now being like, that's cool. Hanoi's cool, man. Hanoi is very cool. Um, the physical confidence that they live with, the lack of neurosis, and I refer you back to the scooters and motorcycles. They all ride scooters and motorcycles, and they ride them like there's no real rules. Like the way that people get through traffic is by like mutually being aware of where the other person is. Like that's kind of where how it's done. Like yeah, there are lanes and stuff, but they're a suggestion. Um, but it comes out all right. People really don't crash because that's how they think of driving. That's how they expect to drive. Now I relate to that because to a certain extent, it's like that driving in New York. And if you're accustomed to driving like that, you can drive like that without the same risk that somebody who's not used to driving like that would be taking. But that blew my mind when I got to Asia. That's something that's common through all the countries I've been in. I suspect it's not going to be as much like that in China, but I don't know if I could be completely wrong about that. Um, but yeah, it's the first time I got on one of those motorcycle taxis in Bangkok, I was terrified. After a while, I got used to it. After a while, I got so used to it that I'd be thinking about something else while I was on the back of the motorcycle, which was, on the when I first got arms around the and he was too polite to say anything, like, "Yo, why don't you grab the seat back there?" Eventually, I looked at other people. Hoi An riding out into the countryside. I took a bicycle ride, and there was an old man out there who just made rice wine, like his own brand of rice wine that was only sold to the local villages, and his face and his name were on it. The guy's just back there making his rice wine. Just incredible stuff, man. Of course, Angkor Wat was just mind blowing and a great thing to see towards the end. Um, Vietnam, as you saw in the video, and there will be a second part to it. It's incredible the personal grace that the Vietnamese have to rise above what was done to them in the way that they have, and to be so forgiving. And that was across the board. There was not one person I had say, "God damn Americans." They all were like, "Hey, we're at peace now. You can't change that. It's terrible, but we've been at peace for all these years. We're very proud of it." Like, that was, I mean, you saw it in the video if you watched it. Like, that was pretty much what I got from everybody. Um, Going out to DMZ, and that was my first. I saw three Viet Cong tunnel networks. That was the first Viet Cong tunnel network I saw. And just the ingenuity and the will to build these things in secret. They had to build these things in secret. They dug out these tunnels by hand. It definitely, in a lot of ways, gives you a certain despair of revolutionary movements in America, frankly, when you look at what these people were made of. And that's in short supply. And I think a big part of that is the wedge that I believe at this point intelligence agencies drove between the working class, which would have been the peasants in Vietnam or in China, and the new left, or the educated left. You separate those two, and they're both prone to give in to their worst instincts. Liberal left educated classes without a working class, they're going to indulge the worst of their elitism and their tendency toward navel gazing. And the working class without an intellectual educated component will tend to be very easy to manipulate, with what I call the tricky Ivan, right? You don't have bread because tricky Ivan has more bread than you. They're prone to that without an educated component to their political movements. So yeah, man. I mean, you go to a place where everywhere you go, you just hear these stories about the incredible will, just the incredible will that the Vietnamese were able to bring, and what they went through, and wouldn't quit for over 100 years of torture and bombing, and secret police arresting them, and being essentially enslaved on plantations by the French to the Americans, by our country. And kept going, man, and they wouldn't quit. They wouldn't quit. I don't think it's an accident that we have a left that's more busy trying to tell each other who they're not supposed to amplify than they are actually trying to do anything. And that's just the reality, man. You can't fix a problem until you face it. I'm just telling you what I've seen here. So tonight, I thought about hanging out on Pub Street there tonight, last night in Southeast Asia, but I said, you know what? Some of you, I guess, wandered in from some of the videos, but I think most of you probably came over from Due Dissidence. I want to hang with you guys, man. The whole reason I'm here is because of the support that we've gotten from y'all. And I definitely am not going to be in any shape to do this tomorrow right before I run to the airport. So I'd rather be hanging with you guys. I saw enough. In Hoi An, I bought a cup called a Confucius cup. and it's quite amazing. If it has 2 holes in the bottom, and you fill it with water, 80%, the water won't come out the 2 holes at the bottom. I'm not a science person. Maybe one of y'all can explain it. Um, but I don't know how it works. If you go over 80%, all the water comes pouring out. And the lesson is don't be greedy. Don't try to get too much. I got my share. I got my share. I'd rather be hanging here with y'all. Um, so those are my overall thoughts, as I think about this experience. And again, it's a lot to process. I'm not really going to be able to process it until I get home. Um, but it's definitely the little moments that I think about, man. It's Ben, my tour guide there that you see in that video, and Mr. Just incredible people. And everyone's been so nice and so helpful. If you're a stranger in a strange land like this, you're dependent on the kindness of strangers. How else would you get around? And I really, man, I haven't met a person who didn't want to help me. I haven't met a person who didn't want to make sure I got where I needed to be or that I understood what I needed to do. Um, there are commonalities across the cultures, but there are also very clear differences between Thailand and Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia. One thing they all have in common, Thailand a little less so, but even they didn't get away unscathed, is that they've all really been victimized by our part of the world, broadly speaking, the West. And that's definitely something I came to appreciate even more being here, because you come over here as an American thinking about the American war. And, I get to Hanoi and they're basically talking about the French. They're talking a lot about the French. And, it's easy for us Americans to see ourselves as American, but we're part of a long history of the West just brutalizing people around the world. Um, and it is when you come here and you deal with people who are so culturally different. I would say probably the key difference that has been common to all 4 countries that I've been to is they really don't get angry, man. And I guess that's a cultural thing. Obviously, humans get angry, but they won't show it. Like they won't do that in public. I mean, I guess they feel that's unbecoming to do that. But I think it's also partly what they get from Buddhism, like the idea that you should be kind, you should emanate kindness, you shouldn't cultivate negativity, you shouldn't cultivate anger. Now, theoretically, Christianity should kind of lead to the same demeanor, but as we know, it doesn't. For whatever reason, in the West, it just has not had that kind of an impact on Western civilization. But Buddhism seems to have had a pretty big impact on all of these cultures in that they seem to look at things like any kind of confrontation, they won't do it. They won't. Okay. All right. Okay. Like they won't go there. Um, I think coming from the culture that we come from, it's almost inconceivable to us that you could have people who are just nice, like that people are just nice. And I think especially they propagandize us in order to justify this rapacious capitalism. That people are greedy, people are basically cutthroat, people are out to get each other. That's human nature. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I mean, I think it can be a dimension of human nature under certain circumstances, but we're a tribal species. Like you could easily argue it's human nature to cooperate because we're social primates. It's human nature to cooperate. You look at gorillas. If with young gorillas don't share their leaves, their food, the others ostracize them and that. There's a lot of us, there's a lot of that in us. Um, so the assumption that it's more natural for us to be at each other's throats or always being very suspicious of each other. It's probably actually very unnatural. That's you're behaving the way that you might towards somebody who's not from your tribe, towards everybody around you. Um, everyone's a competitor for resources. So part of it. Also, you know what I noticed? I'm not used to being around so many families with children because we don't have as many in the West. There are kids everywhere. There are kids everywhere in Asia. People have kids. They have big families. To everywhere you go to have children, and they're adorable and they're happy. They're laughing. They're just you saw some of them in the Vietnam video, and that's very typical of the kids that I've seen here. They seem very happy, very confident, very well adjusted, playful. Um, yeah, that's a big part of it. I look, I if I came here and what I found was, wow, this place is really dysfunctional. I'd say so. I'm open to that. I could have found that. It's not what I found. I found that they have community and they have family. And that is something that we have largely lost. And, losing the one definitely relates to why we lost the other. And that makes a big difference in terms of mental health. And I think that's a big part of why people are not so aggressive, also. They're just mentally healthier because they're living in a mentally healthier culture. They're living in a culture that's not so damaging to people's emotional well-being because they have some kind of a support system. They're living more like what I would argue is natural to people. They're part of a community. They're part of a group. People are not isolated like that. I mean, I'm sure some people, but I mean, God, in America, in the West, the loneliness epidemic. I don't think they have a loneliness epidemic here. And not coincidentally, they're not messed up on Prozac, man. They're not messed up on anti-anxiety drugs. I've been shocked when if you start asking around of people you'd be shocked how many of them are on that shit. That is a failed culture. If that doesn't tell you that the culture is diseased, what would? What would? All of these articles telling you, yes, and a lot of this mental illness is going untreated, and we need to talk about it. We need to talk about why the culture is producing so many people with these mental illnesses, but they'll never talk about that. I can't remember which psychiatrist it was back in the 60s. He was pretty popular with the counterculture, who said that the purpose of psychiatry was to mainstream people out of their individual illness into the collective illness. Yeah, I mean that's what they're drugging you into accepting the unacceptable. And yeah, I've asked quite a few people here, like, so do you know people on Prozac? No, no, it's almost unheard of here. Um, so I am going to be sorry to leave this part of the world. I'm excited to see China, of course. I suspect I'm not going to dig it quite as much for not because I've heard wonderful things about the Chinese people. I'm sure it's going to be really interesting. From my experience of going to countries that have been empires or have great power ambitions, like China's not imperial in that way, but they do have great power ambitions. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. It makes a difference in the tone of the culture. Like, you come to these places, Cambodia, Vietnam, obviously they have pride in their history, a lot of pride, it takes on a different tone when you're in the game. When you're in the game, these countries are not in the game. Like, they're trying to better themselves and improve their economy and improve life for their people, but none of them are seeing themselves as possible successors to US hegemony. China is. And that's a different vibe. That's a different energy. Like, these people are very close to the ground. They keep it simple. And I love that. I love that. And I suspect that will be different in China, because of their position in the world relative to this part of the world. Um, so I wanted to talk to you all before I go. My overall thoughts are this has been a beautiful, profound, moving, life changing experience. I filmed it all, and it will all come out in video once I get home, or if I can't go home, wherever I land. I won't be moving every week like this. Wherever I am, I'm planning on being home in the middle of May. I expect to be home. Although I will say honestly, like in all seriousness, things have gotten so much worse in the world over the last month. 5 weeks is a long time in China. I don't know what the world's going to look like in 5 weeks. I'm more confident that the plane that I'm scheduled to leave on is going to take off because it's a Chinese airline and they have their own oil. What's America going to be like? Are you going to have energy lockdowns by the time I come back? Is I don't know, or maybe my flight will be canceled. Like I definitely could see the world being beyond Thunderdome in 5 weeks. I feel like right now I'm living in the exposition black and white film that sets up the world of the road warrior that explains why they don't have gasoline. I feel like I'm in the black and white exposition for the road warrior right now. And I'm trying to travel the world while that's happening. So those are my thoughts. All right. Any questions from the crew? As most of you probably know, I have a due dissident show to do in an hour 15 minutes. Um, your return ticket will be $10,000. Yeah, probably, probably. Uh, yeah, I know. No, was Ben Norton in China? Is he in China? I don't even know that cat. We've never had any interactions. Have you had to buy a new SIM card in every country you've gone to? No, I have not. So Spectrum, which is my general plan at home, has a global plan, and I got that for that. And I'm traveling with a second phone in case the other one doesn't work. I kind of basically they screwed me. They didn't process my trade in when I got the new iPhone, so I wound up with two. And I said, you know what? Make lemonade out of lemons, man. It probably won't be bad to have a second phone on a second network over there. And actually, that was a good idea because that's on a whole other eSIM I'm using. It's a Holofly for that one, just through when I'm in China. And a lot of times the Spectrum doesn't work. That one does. Sometimes that one does. So yeah, they screwed me, but it wound up working for me. Um, all right. What else you got? What else you got? Does the phone translator work well on the phone? Yes, it doesn't translate all these languages though. It doesn't translate Cambodian, which fortunately the people in the tourism industries tend to speak good enough English. It hasn't been an issue. That was only really an issue in Laos. They didn't really speak English, and there's no Laotian on the translator. I did research of what translators will work in China without a VPN. And I got Microsoft Translate and Baidu. So now I have three translation apps on my phone. So I expect one of them to work. Um, yeah, what else you got? Yeah, so my phone should be good for China. That's, you know, how they're set up. Consider stopping in Mexico before the USA. Believe me, I'm considering it. Believe me. Hassan spent 2 weeks in China. He said it's not enough. I know. I've never known anyone who went to China who did not have a good time. Um, I did. I woke up to Trump's deranged address to the nation. Me and Keaton agreed the night before we'd both watch it and reconvene about what we were going to do for the show because there was no way of knowing until we saw that. Eric Rousseau, better tunnel makers, Viet Cong or New York Jews? Jews do better tailoring, but I think Viet Cong do better tunneling. That's my take. Um, you may have less issues arriving from Mexico than from China. I mean, I just don't know. Um, Not trolling. It is woo and enables the animal trade. Um, I mean, we enable the animal trade. Most places eat animals. Um, Best food. Had any issue charging your stuff out on the street in Vietnam? You mean charging like my phone or charging like with a credit card? Vietnam is basically cash. A lot of places will not take a credit card if that's what you mean. And that's Southeast Asia in general. Vietnam in particular did not like to take credit cards. Yes, I am going to the Great Wall. So I am on an intrepid trip. You know what? I am gonna have to figure out how to use the StreamYard because I don't even think you can screen share here. I would show you my itinerary. Like I'm going with Intrepid. It's a tour group. I did India with them. They're a good, reliable company. So I'm doing 19 days with them where I'm doing like the tourist stuff, Beijing, the Great Wall, Xi'an, the Terracotta Warriors. Chengdu has the famous zoo with the pandas. Like I'm doing all that stuff with them. Then I'm going to spend an extra, they end in Hong Kong. I'm going to spend an extra 3 days there. Then I'm going to Shenzhen purely for a tech tour, purely to see, because that's where BYD is based. It's where their robotics companies are based. That's their big tech company. So they give tours where you order coffee with a drone and you get in a robo taxi and you check out the robots, like the whole thing. Then I am going to Chongqing, which, if you've seen, a lot of people make videos there. It looks like a cyberpunk city with the train that goes through the building, and it's built on multiple levels. You'll be walking out into a town square, but it's 10 stories up. It looks crazy, man. So I'm going to spend a few days there. Then I am going to Urumqi, and I'm doing a 3-day guided tour of the Silk Road. And then in theory, I'm home. And then in theory, I'm back in the United States. Events depending. Events depending. So, I'm going to answer a question. One of you might have asked it, and I haven't seen it. Oh, how do you drink water? Bottled? Yes. Yes. You'd never. I brought this all the way from New York. This is my bike marathon, super duper enormous water bottle for when I sign up for those 50, 100-mile bike rides. This is my water bottle. Steel, baby. Yeah, you're not seeing water from a tap if you come here. Like you're living on bottled water. This particular hotel, the way they do it, they actually provide like it's like a water filter cooler thing in the lobby where you can just get unlimited refills. Um so I'm going to answer a question nobody asked, but am I homesick? I mean, you gotta be wondering, right? Uh, no, no. Um, I do kind of miss like having a day where I'm not doing something more than anything else. Like, to that extent, I'm homesick. I'm homesick in the sense that, like, wow, that would be nice to like not have to go see anything or do anything for the day. Like, dude, it's been 3 months. It's been 3 months. Like, I know how that can sound like, oh, poor you, but it's fucking exhausting because I'm doing the show. If I weren't doing the show, no problem, man. But basically, I have half the week. So that half the week, I got to cram everything in. And then the days I'm not doing that, I'm doing the show. And I have done that for 3 months nonstop. It's tiring. Um, in China, not doing the show, that's going to be the first time I've taken a show off here and there, obviously. Um, but I've never taken more than a show in 4 years. Like 4 years ago, we decided that we were going to focus on YouTube. We had been doing like articles basically. In that 4 years, I haven't taken more than one show off in a row. I don't think I've ever had like two shows off in a row. So taking that time, I mean, yeah, I mean, it has been 4 years. Like even on that level, I think it's probably healthy to take a break. Don't tell Keaton that, he won't do it. But God love him, man. I told him, yo, fair is fair. I'm taking all this time off, and we've talked about this on the show. He won't. Maybe someday he will. He took 2 weeks off when his baby was born, so there was that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll probably help for when I come back during the show. I'll probably have um, give me some perspective on it and some new energy to bring to it, and definitely some new perspectives after all this. Um, so okay, what other question? Yeah, Keaton needs some time off, man. I keep telling him he won't do it. I don't know. I don't know. If you're doing what you love, it's not work, right? So what else we got? Got any other questions? No pandas? Yeah, man. I'll be seeing pandas. I'll be seeing pandas in China. Did you need any power adapters? Okay, so of course, I brought a universal adapter. You know what's weird? Regular plugs work here. Now, I don't know if that would be true in China, but it's true here. Like they have their plug and that works, but it's also, let me see, would I be able to show you? See, this is what the desk looks like. All right, so I'm going to show you. All right, can you see? Can you see that? Let me see. Yeah. All right, so you see the plug? All right, so a regular plug will go in there. You see? Like you don't have to use an adapter. This is an adapter. Like you can use it, but you don't have to. It will work with a regular plug. Somebody here is telling me China has universal sockets in most places. So I never saw that before. They don't have those in Europe. I never saw those in Europe. They have like the 3-prong thing usually over there. How far does a dollar go in Vietnam and Cambodia? Pretty freaking far, man. pretty freaking far. Okay, tonight, what I did tonight is like, yo, man, you're breaking the bank in Cambodia. It was recommended to me by the hotel. It was like a buffet dinner, but like good, like high-end buffet. And with a show, with an Apsara show. That was $25, which is a fortune here. Like that was like the shit. That was like an expensive thing to go do. But yeah, most things are very cheap throughout the entire region. You know what's a little more expensive, not surprisingly? China. I'm looking at what it costs to book tours and stuff like that. I mean, you're kind of approaching a lot of it is actually more expensive than you would pay for a tour like that in the West. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's tourist price. They're hitting the Westerners over their head. I don't know. Because English speaking tour, like maybe they're upcharging for that. Those tours are pretty expensive. The hotels are not Western prices, but they're not Southeast Asia prices. They're kind of in between. Like you're definitely not paying what you'd pay at home. Like I think Novotel, I'm there for 4 days. I think it's like 250 on the 4 days. So that's not what you would pay to stay. And it's not by the airport. It's pretty well located. That's not what you would pay to stay at a hotel where we come from. But in Southeast Asia, like you could stay in a hotel like that for like $100, $125 if you're just talking about 4 days. Like yeah, like 125, maybe 150. So it's definitely more expensive in China than it is here, but not nearly as expensive as it is in the West, except for the tours. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna look into if there are like Asia tours. I know there's like Klook, I think people use in Asia, and maybe that's not hitting people over the head quite as much. Lauren, favorite country so far, or which is friendliest to American tourists right now? None of them were unfriendly. None of them. This is what I'm telling you, man. The people could not have been nicer everywhere that I went. Everywhere that I went, they could not have been nicer. My favorite country had to have been Vietnam. I mean, it just it was just amazing. It was just amazing. The diversity of that country, like Sapa is like this misty mountain town. That's where I live streamed from the first time with the beautiful rice fields and the hill tribes. You got from that to the crazy old beautiful chaos of Hanoi to kind of the more modern Ho Chi Minh to Hoi An with the beautiful lanterns and canals. Like, yeah, you can't beat Vietnam. I mean, in this part of the world. But it was all great, man, in different ways. Like Thailand, best food, hands down. Nobody even comes close, honestly, to the level of food in Thailand. Like, yeah, man, there's good food all over the region. The Thai food, you almost can't get bad Thai food, man. Like, it's their food is fucking phenomenal, man. Like, everything that you eat is phenomenal in Thailand. Laos, weakest food of the four. Their cuisine is definitely something, definitely a cultivated taste. It's based in their local like herbs and stuff. So like a lot of cooked bamboo and like bitter herbs. It's not the kind of thing if you're used to it, if you're not used to it, that you would probably like the first time you had it. That's it is what it is. Vietnam, I mean, you've probably had Vietnamese food. It's good, not as good as that Thai food, man. That Thai food is out of this world. And the Cambodian food, it's good, but it's not really very distinct from its neighbors. I think that's part of why it's not really a thing. Like, it's not really very different from things you find other places that are pretty similar. Their big thing is fish amak, which is good. It's tasty. It's like a coconut milk kind of fish stew almost. That's good. Beef laklak, I think they call it. And, it's good. It's tasty. And they have a Khmer chicken curry, like their version of chicken curry, but it's chicken curry. It's a little more like milky. It's a little more like coconut milk in it. And it's good, but it's not like that Thai food, man. That Thai food is, man, man. Those people have some food. There is a reason Thai food. You know what? I'll tell you a fun fact you might not know. There are more Thai restaurants in America than any other type of ethnic food. Thai restaurants. There's a reason for that. That freaking food is good. Um. All right. What else? What else we got? What else we got before I gotta go to my other show? Is that it? I don't know whether to laugh or cry at your Mad Max references. Seriously, dude. Look, a more cautious man than myself. I'm gonna knock on so much wood right now. I know this is like, I'm tempting the gods even saying this. I'm not gonna lie, man. Of course, it's fucking risky to not just come home right now. Like, I seriously, who the fuck knows what's gonna be going on in 5 weeks? Seriously, man. Like World War III, I could totally be trapped in China. Not because I'm worried about being detained. I'm worried about gas. I'm worried about jet fuel. I'm worried about aviation permissions around the world. I'm worried about the airports in America being up and running. Like, I'm worried about cabs having gas. Like, who fucking knows? Seriously, who knows? It's very risky because you're not talking even 2 weeks. You're talking 5 weeks. Look what happened in a month. What are things going to be like in 5 weeks? Could I wind up literally not being able to go home? Could definitely happen. I'm going to take that chance. Famous last words again. But yeah. All right. You hear me knocking on the wood? Did that come through? Knocking on the wood. Oh, by the way, I did 2 last segments. I'm going to do one about this place which trains rats to discover landmines so that they don't maim any more Cambodians. And they also send these rats to other countries like Laos that have that problem. Da, da, da. Anything else? Bonzo Kilburn. Don't worry so much. I'm sure everything will be fine. I mean, I'm not that worried, or I wouldn't be going. If I were that worried, I wouldn't do it. Um, Please go to stores and check out quality of goods. People here say China sells higher quality than what is sold here in the US. That's the kind of thing I'm interested in. I will definitely check that out. Fly into Toronto, then take a train to New York City. Um, yeah, I mean that's a lot of headache, man. You're in Da Nang. Did I take a taxi to Sun Mi Massacre Museum and Garden? I did. I hang on. Da Nang. Oh yeah, 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 man. Didn't you see the video? Didn't you see the video? I dropped a whole video, man. I dropped the first part. Yeah, I went to My Lai. That was I mean, I almost hesitate to use the word highlight, but it was definitely one of the most impactful experiences that I had. I'm very glad I did it. Um, I mean, that's definitely something. It's part of what I have to process, man. We have no concept of being from a country that's had more bombs dropped on it than was dropped in World War II. I mean, you're talking like thousands of bombs for every little farm in Cambodia and Laos. Like, to be in a place where everywhere you go, you see people missing limbs, man. Here, Vietnam, Laos, you see that everywhere you go, except for Thailand. You see people with missing limbs, man, from mines, from bombs. Like, we did that, man. We did that. That is a lot to process. And especially the people being so kind and so gentle. The idea that we've been inculcated with, that if you don't do it to them, they're going to do it to you. I think when you come to this part of the world, you realize how false that is, because most people are not as sick as we are. They're really not, man. Most people just want to live in peace. They're really not looking to go conquer other countries. They want to do trade. They want to improve their lives. They want to improve lives for their people. We are in the grip of criminal psychopaths, man, and the whole world is paying. Didn't just start paying for it. They've been paying for it for a long time. I know a lot of you know all this, but it's one thing to know it. It's another thing to see a band made up of landmine victims, as you'll see in my video for Due Dissidents in just a little bit. Did I make some good connections for some pro Vietnamese coffee? I mean, you can order that, man. All right. All right. Well, I guess I will get ready for the show. Keep your mind open in China. People have bad manners in Western terms, but are super nice. I'm from New York, man. I don't think they're gonna have worse manners than what I'm used to, man. I think that'll be fine. One of the reasons I'm doing a tour group is, from what I understand, because unlike this part of the world where they've had like Westerners backpacking through these places for decades, China, I hear it's changing, but it can still be a little hard to navigate for someone who's never been there. I'm going with a group tour for basically about 2/3 of the trip, because I'm going to be in Shanghai for 3 days. That's where I'm going tomorrow. I'm on my own because this tour was not going to Shanghai, and I was not going to China without seeing Shanghai. So I'm going to Shanghai. That'll be on my own. Then 19 days with the tour group. Then I'm on my own for about 2 weeks after that. But by then, I figure I'll have figured out how to get around in China. But from what I understand, it's a little more challenging than some other places. But I'll have that 3 weeks basically with a tour group to get acclimated and to adjust, and I'll have a guide. I can ask questions like, how do you do this and that? So by the time I'm really striking out on my own, I should have it pretty well figured out. They smoke a lot, yeah. I mean, they smoke more in Asia in general than we do. We kinda gave up that habit as a culture a while ago. In fact, May 12th is my 5-year quit smoking anniversary. I have a tradition of going to that bench that I had my last cigarette on. We'll see if that's going to be possible. We'll see if I'm able to get back there. Um, all right, guys. So due dissidents coming up at noon, to be continued over there. I will have a story about the hero rats that are defusing the mines here in Cambodia with some of my own footage shot at the center where they train the rats, and I got to play with one of them myself. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support um, of this show and, of course, of me and Keaton at Due Dissidents. Without you all, none of this would be possible, and I hope you feel like you're getting it back. I mean, that's why I'm shooting all this footage. And when and if, like I said, even if I don't get back to the United States, wherever I go, there are literally hundreds of hours of footage from this trip. There are thousands, literally, I'm not making this up, thousands of videos and pictures I'm going to have to organize once I land wherever. But you're going to be getting as much of a front row seat to this trip as you could get without doing it yourself once I finally settle. So thank you all, man. Thank you all. I love you, and I cannot express how much appreciation I have for our audience and all the support they've given us over the years. All right. I will see you all over, well, most of you do dissidents for my very last show before I take 5 weeks off in China. All right. See you soon, guys.